Hello, Latin 4. Uh, I hope you're all well. I hope that you're keeping good social distance. I hope you're getting to sleep in a little bit. Nobody needs to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning anymore. My kids don't wake me until 8. They know better, at which point my son lets me know all the things that he already ate before breakfast. I was told that 37 was the last one that we all kind of worked on, so I just want to have kind of a practice run of a video and go over this in English for you with 37 to be the starting point. Because we've all worked on the other things together. What I want you to do is listen to how I'm going through it and kind of tidy up where your translations are, where you kind of stray from it. The words have generally, pretty obvious meanings and whatnot, but I wanted to avoid using cognates. So a cognate would be something like if we have the word I don't know. I mean, because there's some of them that are cognates. Like a centurion is a centurion. I mean, that's just how it works. But if we have a word like reliqui, okay, don't say the left behind ones or the relinquished ones, rather. You could actually call them the left behind ones, and that would be better than the relinquished ones, okay? So I'm starting on 537, and in your books, that's page 118. Yeah, so there we go. As you recall, the big battle is raging, and Sabinus orders the tribunes. And notice, by the way, that, and I'll probably be doing this a lot, kind of doing a step aside. So if I'm doing it too much, please, shoot me a message and let me know. But notice that this is happening in the present tense because in many ways it's an exciting battle. We're in the middle of it. So Sabinus orders the tribunes of the soldiers, whom he had around himself at that very moment, and the centurions of the first ranks to follow himself, himself being Sabinus. And after he had approached nearer to Ambiorix, he was ordered, or I guess Eustace is just existing on its own. So having been ordered to throw away his, Sabinus's, weapons, he did what was ordered, or he does what was ordered. And then he ordered, he being Sabinus, his own men, that they do the same thing. Meanwhile, while they speak, they being Ambiorix and Sabinus, about the conditions between each other, and Ambiorix begins speaking longer by way of his own plan, or longer as he had planned. Little by little, Sabinus's men are surrounded, or having been surrounded, are killed, or Sabinus is killed. Okay. Moving on to page 119. Indeed, truly, according to their own custom, at that time, they, the Gauls, shout victory, and they raise up a howl. Okay, and I love that we're using the word howl here because it kind of points to how savage these people are. Okay, savages howl. Civilized people, they cheer. It's different. Sports fans, they celebrate, right? People asking for their rights, they riot. So they lift up a huge howl, and once they make an attack against our men, they being the Gauls, make an attack, and specifically the Eburones, by the way, against our men, they, the Gauls, upset the ranks of our men. Okay, and notice he actually used nostros because the battle's getting closer. The urgency is actually approaching to Romans. Okay, there, Lucius Cotta, whose middle name is Arunculaeus, by the way, he, fighting, is killed with the largest part of his soldiers. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. The remaining soldiers, the left behind ones, retreat themselves back into the camp from where they had marched out of, which is only about 2 miles. So, I mean, they see what's going on and some of them take off. And of these men, okay, Lucius Petrosidius, the Aquilifer, another word that I'll let you get away with just using that word, the Aquilifer, the eagle bearer, when he was overwhelmed or overtaken by a huge band of enemies, or a mob of enemies, he threw the eagle within the camp's ramparts. okay, within the fortifications of the camp. And he himself died, or better yet, is slaughtered, fighting most bravely in front of the camp. Okay. Those men, now I'm on to page 120, by the way, those men, with difficulty, those men who were in the camp, okay, who made it to the camp, he didn't, he threw the eagle over. They withstand the siege until the night, and at night, once they despair of their own safety, every man kills himself, okay, or all the men kill themselves. A few men from the battle slipped away by way of unknown paths. So they didn't get to the fort. They went a different way. They were cut off by unknown paths. They came through the woods to the legate Titus Labanus at his winter quarters. Now, if you look at the map on page 80, you'll see that takes a while. Okay, it takes a couple days. Maybe a day at a forced march, but they're on unknown paths, so I'm thinking it's taking at least a day and a half. Anyway, they come to the winter quarters of Titus Labanus, and they inform him about the events, or about the ambush, or about the thing that has happened to them. Okay, and that ends 538, 537 rather. Now, what I want to point out is if you look at what is happening, Sabinus has a lot of passive verbs and long sentences, and yet he has the smallest group of Roman soldiers with him. And they're not the common soldiers either. They're people who have been trained and stuff like that. They're the elite. Cotta is fighting with a large portion of the men, the largest portion of his men. And Cotta he's got active participles being used with him. He has short sentences. So it's very clear who Caesar sees as the hero here and who Caesar wants us to see as the hero here. And it's Cotta. And if you look back, Cotta is the one that said, whoa, we got to wait until Caesar gets here, because this isn't going to make any sense otherwise. It's Sabinus who went and got a translator named Gnaeus Pompeius, who wanted to save his own skin and who wanted to retreat and who was very much not Roman at that point. And so that ends 537. But I always want you to not just mechanically translate, but also look at the propaganda that we're reading, because it is propaganda, okay? What is being set up in this dichotomy? What's being set up in this duality? Who's doing what? Who's being brave? Who's being cowardly? Look at the actual sentence structure, and you'll start to see things like that. Okay, so that pretty much takes care of it. I'm hoping that makes sense for you guys. You'll, of course, let me know if there's something lacking in it. I'm going to push the button now.